Hello everyone, and welcome to part 2 of how to make a platformer game in Unity. So last time we started working on this code in order to make our player move left and right, and jump. So now we are going to work on, or try to get as much of the code as we want. So to start off, I am going to create a vector2 type variable, name it speed. And the thing about vector2 type variables is that they have a .x and a .y component. And this is really good when I want to create a variable that is equal to an object's velocity. So I'm going to set this to rigid body 2D. And because the way I want to do... Okay, because the way I want to do this is to make it so your movement on your y-axis is independent of your movement on the x-axis. Because if I were to just create new vector2s to modify the velocity directly, then the object won't move around as smoothly as I want it to. It would feel a little floaty. So now I'm going to edit the speed.x and set this one to -3 because I'm moving to the left. Set this to +3 because I'm moving to the right. And set it to 0 over here because I don't want to move. And now, if I go into Unity and check how it moves. And it doesn't. This is because I haven't assigned the speed value to the rigid body. So now I'm going to say this .get component rigid body 2D .velocity equals a new vector2 speed.x speed.y. And now, if I were to go into Unity and click play, you can now move your object. However, it has this weird thing where it spins around. The way you can fix this if you don't want your object to spin is to go into your rigid body 2D component on your object and check fixed angle. And that'll make it so your object cannot rotate through physics. You can still rotate it by coding, but you would have to modify the transform.eulerangles.z in order to do that. So now that I got moving left and right, I want to jump. And this part is really easy. All I have to do is say speed.y equals and whatever big number I want. Let's go 8. Now, actually, I need to use getKeyDown because I only want it to be speed.y equals 8 whenever on the first frame that you press the spacebar. Because if I were to use getKeyDown, then you would fly up indefinitely. So now you got jumping and you got moving left and right. But here's a problem. You can jump infinitely. And the way we're going to fix that is by making it so the game knows when you're landed. So to do that, I am going to create a physics 2D, a box collider 2D, and I'm just going to position it by clicking edit collider and just dragging these nodes so I can just position it at a reasonable place. And then I want to check is trigger because I don't want this to be affected by physics. That way it doesn't look like you're standing on invisible box or something. Alright. Now, in here, we're going to make use of two functions. One is on trigger enter 2D, and it's going to be of type Collider 2D. And the other is going to be on trigger exit 2D. And what on trigger enter 2D is going to do is check when this box collider has touched another collider. And what on trigger exit is going to check is for when they stop colliding. This way I will know when you have jumped and when you have landed. However, this way only works if you're so there is a bit of a flaw with doing this. Like if I were to create this smaller platform and create this other platform here, you would think that they are connected. They have this collider on top, so I should be able to roll across it. But that's not entirely true. If I were to go leave this box collider after moving over here, then the on-trigger exit function was used last, and the game will think that I am no longer landed, even though I am. And the way you would fix this is just to use one platform that is big enough to cover the distance you wanted with two platforms. And that's really something you only have to worry about with landing. Anyway, now we need to create a variable. So what I'm going to do is go up here, create a static bool, name it landed. And here, so what a static variable is, it's something that can be accessed everywhere in the script, in every individual function, and that's it. Now, these aren't the best thing to use at all times, because if you're using the same variable a lot, it will become hard to track which function changed it. But since we're only accessing this variable like 3 times, it won't matter. So here, down at our on trigger enter, I'm going to set landed to true. On trigger exit, set landed to false. And then on our key code space, I'm going to put ampersand ampersand, which is found Shift 7 on Windows. I'm not sure about Mac because I don't own one. And I'm going to check if it's landed. So, landed. Now I can, tapping spacebar a bunch doesn't jump to infinitely. So now I can create 2 platforms and have the player jump from the first one to the second one. And it worked. And if you follow through, then that happens. So one thing I want to tweak is your speed.x. Because I feel like it's moving a little bit too slow. Yeah, that's a bit better. And we can even add a bit of acceleration so you can't turn around or start going so quickly. But that's what we'll do when we start polishing a bit more. Anyway, that wraps it up for this episode. Next time we are going to begin implementing the obstacles, which includes the spikes. We'll create spikes that you can fall on and die. We'll create these obstacles that make them move around, and we'll even make it so when you fall down into the void, you get resetted to a certain position. So thank you for watching, and goodbye, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.